Everyone in the Ravens fan base has been on high alert ever since Lamar Jackson left practice unexpectedly. And if you've been following training camp closely, you know exactly why this is causing such a stir. Picture this. It's a slightly overcast day, a little drizzle in the air, not heavy enough to cancel anything, but enough that the field is slick, the atmosphere is tense, and every move on the turf matters. Lamar Jackson, arguably the most electrifying quarterback in the league, is out there doing his thing, connecting with his receivers, testing the timing on deep balls, executing read options, and generally showing off the kind of mobility and precision that has made him one of the most dynamic playmakers in football. Early in the session, everything seems routine. Lamar is moving well, his passes are sharp, and the chemistry with his targets, including Zay Flowers and others, looks natural, smooth, almost effortless. There's a rhythm to the practice that reminds you why the Ravens are always a team to watch when the season begins. It's the kind of rhythm that gives fans confidence that Lamar and this offense can still pull off magic on Sunday afternoons. But then comes the moment that shifts everything. During the final period of practice, the so-called move the ball portion where quarterbacks are really expected to show their touch and timing, something goes slightly off. You see a pass that's a little late, a deep ball that doesn't quite hit the receiver in stride, and for the first time in the session, there's a flicker of concern. It's subtle at first, maybe the drizzle, maybe just a misread, maybe Lamar experimenting with a throw, but then it escalates. He goes down. Reports and observations indicate that in the chaos of a collapsing pocket, Lamar gets stepped on. The sight is unnerving. Even though he picks himself up, flexes his wrists, and tries to keep the momentum going, you can see that something is off. Whether it's his wrist, his arm, or even just the discomfort from being stepped on, it's clear to anyone watching that this is not routine. The trainers and strength staff immediately get involved, guiding him off the field, assessing the situation, and making sure he's okay. For fans watching from afar, or even from the stands, it's one of those moments where you pause and wonder if this is just a minor mishap or the start of something more concerning. The official word from the Ravens is straightforward. Lamar Jackson was stepped on, and he's fine. That's the statement fans and media get, and on the surface, it seems reassuring. But anyone who's been around football knows that there's often more nuance than an official line can convey. Stepping on a quarterback's foot or wrist can result in a wide spectrum of injuries, from bruising and minor sprains to more subtle issues that linger through practices and early games. Even a small contusion on a quarterback who relies on mobility and quick release, like Lamar, can be amplified because it affects timing, mechanics, and the confidence to fully commit to throws on the move. Watching Lamar after that incident, you notice subtle differences. The deep ball to Leone Wester, for instance, is caught cleanly, but the release is off. Not catastrophic, but enough that someone familiar with his usual mechanics can tell this isn't his typical form. A throw to Charlie Kolar sails a little high over Zay Flowers, and another pass into the dirt to Justice Hill shows a slight deviation from his standard sidearm technique. These moments are magnified by the circumstances, by the drizzle, and by the tension of the final practice before the team begins solid preparations for the upcoming games. What's fascinating about this situation is that, from an outside perspective, Lamar doesn't appear injured in the dramatic sense. He walks into the building with the strength coach, not visibly limping, not favoring his arm, appearing composed. But football fans are trained to notice the subtle things, the slightly cautious step, the pause before throwing, the momentary hesitation on cuts. And in Lamar's case, even a minor adjustment in how he distributes weight or flicks his wrist can be telling. From the reports and observations, it seems that he wasn't moving in pain in a way that screamed injury, but the fact that he left practice and that his throws afterward were a bit uncharacteristic is enough to fuel conversation and concern. That's just part of being a high-profile athlete. Every nuance is scrutinized, every minor deviation is analyzed, and every fan with an eye for detail starts projecting scenarios for the season ahead. The backup quarterbacks, including Cooper Rush, are also part of this narrative. Even as Lamar navigates this minor setback, the rest of the quarterback room is adjusting, practicing, and trying to find rhythm. It's clear from the observations that Wednesday's practice wasn't flawless for anyone. Lamar was experimenting, the backups were working to find timing, and the offensive group as a whole faced challenges in syncing up against the defense. But for Lamar, these experiments are part of his growth. They are the calculated risks he takes to expand his repertoire, to test his timing under different conditions, and to prepare for the unpredictability of a regular season game. A misthrown ball in practice isn't a disaster. It's a signal that he's pushing boundaries, trying new releases, and adjusting to defensive looks that will inevitably mirror real game scenarios. These are the things that coaches note, that analysts watch, and that fans hope translate into brilliance on game day. Another layer to consider is how Lamar's mobility, one of his most unique and devastating attributes, is impacted by even minor injuries. Being stepped on might seem trivial, but for a quarterback whose game relies on quick cuts, sudden escapes, and dynamic movement outside the pocket, the smallest discomfort can ripple through his mechanics. A bruised foot, a slightly sore wrist, or even just the memory of discomfort from being stepped on can influence a throw, a decision, or a timing pattern in subtle ways. Observers noted that his throws post-incident were slightly altered, the release different, a few passes slightly off target, enough to make you lean forward and pay closer attention to each subsequent play. These are not failures. They are adjustments, the body's natural response to a moment of stress or impact. And in Lamar's case, where the margin between perfection and imperfection is often razor thin, these nuances matter a lot. Yet, despite all the attention, the official message remains clear: Lamar Jackson is fine. And there's reason to trust that. The Ravens training staff is among the best in the league. The protocols for handling injuries are meticulous, and Lamar himself is famously resilient. But as any football fan knows, it's never just about what's announced. It's about what's observed, the context of practice, the weather, the intensity, and the subtle changes in form and motion. Every play, every throw, every step he takes is a piece of the puzzle that will determine not just his readiness, but the team's preparedness for the season ahead. What also stands out from this practice session is the connection between Lamar and his receivers, particularly Tez Walker, who has been developing a reputation as a reliable and explosive target. Early in practice, Lamar's throws to Tez are confident, precise, and aggressive. The chemistry is evident. Lamar trusts him to make plays, to adjust mid-route, to capitalize on every inch of space. It's a relationship that takes weeks to fully develop, and seeing it function under live conditions, even during a minor disruption like Lamar being stepped on, is encouraging. Tez's ability to catch, run after contact, and execute his routes adds another layer of confidence to Lamar's game, showing that the offensive unit is clicking even amid the uncertainty of practice. At the same time, there's the broader context of training camp, the rhythm of practices, and the way quarterbacks are evaluated. From warm-ups to defensive emphasis periods, coaches are looking at timing, accuracy, decision-making, and adaptability. Lamar, like every quarterback, experiences highs and lows during these sessions. Some throws are perfect, some are slightly off, and some are experimental. The latter is where the real growth occurs, learning how to adjust to live pressure, how to anticipate coverage, and how to balance aggression with prudence. Wednesday's practice, disrupted slightly by the step-on incident, still provides a wealth of information. Observers can track Lamar's form, the timing with his targets, his ability to recover after impact, and his decision-making under imperfect conditions. Finally, it's impossible to ignore the fans' perspective. Ravens supporters are passionate, vigilant, and invested in every development, every report, and every nuance of Lamar's performance. The moment he left practice, social media exploded, speculation ran rampant, and even casual observers began analyzing video clips frame by frame. That level of attention underscores just how critical Lamar Jackson is to the Ravens' aspirations, and why even minor incidents become major talking points. And while the official reports assure everyone he's fine, the reality of football is that these moments are never trivial. Each practice, each step, each pass is a precursor to what will happen when the lights are brightest and the stakes are highest. While all eyes were on Lamar Jackson, the rest of the quarterback room didn't exactly have an easy day either. Cooper Rush, for example, faced challenges that highlighted just how difficult it is to step into a team like the Ravens during training camp. The rhythm that Lamar naturally establishes with his receivers is something that takes years to master, but Cooper, despite his arm talent, struggled to find that same connection. His throws weren't consistently accurate. Timing with receivers was off on a few routes, and there were moments where the pocket collapsed faster than he could adjust. Watching him navigate the drills, you could see the thought process in his eyes. He's analyzing, adjusting, trying to replicate the chemistry that Lamar has built almost instinctively. But there's an evident gap. That's not a knock on Cooper. It's simply the reality of stepping into a system midstream and trying to match the tempo of one of the league's most dynamic offenses. In practice, every quarterback is working not just on mechanics, but also on situational awareness and anticipation. For Lamar, this is second nature. He reads defenses, identifies mismatches, and makes adjustments on the fly. But for backups like Cooper or Dion Leary, it's a learning curve. They are tasked with understanding schemes, recognizing coverage shifts, and adjusting their reads in real time, all while the defense is executing at full speed. During Wednesday's session, it was clear that the Ravens coaching staff was emphasizing precision, timing, and adaptability. Every quarterback had to respond to defensive disruptions, simulate game speed pressure, and demonstrate that they could handle unexpected situations. For Cooper, some passes sailed a little wide, a few reads were delayed, and on one or two occasions, his timing with the receivers caused the ball to land just behind the intended target. These are the kinds of mistakes that aren't uncommon in preseason work, but they underscore why Lamar's presence is so critical. He brings a level of execution and improvisation that can't easily be replaced. Meanwhile, the receivers and offensive skill players were adjusting to the varying styles of the quarterbacks. Tez Walker, for instance, was a highlight of the practice, showing crisp route running, a reliable catch radius, and an ability to create yards after the catch. His connection with Lamar is particularly noteworthy because it demonstrates both trust and timing. Lamar can anticipate where Tez will be on the route, and Tez can react to Lamar's subtle cues mid-throw. That kind of chemistry doesn't happen overnight. Watching it in live practice scenarios, especially during hurry-up drills or when the field conditions were slightly less than perfect, gave a real sense of how dynamic this offense can be when fully clicking. Tez's performance also underscores why Lamar's experimental throws in practice matter. Some of the passes that seemed off in timing or release weren't mistakes. They were deliberate attempts to challenge the receivers, test spacing, and refine the timing under different conditions. The slight misfires are part of the process of building a quarterback-receiver rapport that can survive the intensity of the regular season. Beyond Lamar and the backups, the entire quarterback room was put through tests designed to simulate the unpredictability of an NFL game. Defensive emphasis periods meant that offensive players were challenged by live, reacting defenders, and quarterbacks had to make rapid decisions. These periods are where the real growth happens, where you see which quarterbacks can maintain composure under pressure, where they can read the field quickly, and where even the smallest lapse in mechanics or timing becomes glaringly obvious. Lamar, despite the brief scare of being stepped on, demonstrated his ability to bounce back, to recalibrate his throws, and to maintain offensive momentum. His agility, pocket awareness, and ability to improvise after contact remained intact, even if the release on a couple of deep throws looked different than usual. This is what makes Lamar Jackson one of the most formidable quarterbacks in football. He adapts on the fly and absorbs adversity without letting it disrupt the rhythm of the team. Meanwhile, Cooper Rush and the other backups continued to experience the challenges of adjusting to live speed practice. The arm strength is there, the athleticism is respectable, but the subtle timing issues and chemistry gaps are immediately apparent when compared to Lamar's polished execution. These struggles are exactly what coaches are monitoring during training camp. It's not just about making the right throws, it's about how quickly a quarterback can diagnose a defensive scheme, adjust to coverage shifts, and still deliver an accurate ball to a moving target. Cooper's throws weren't catastrophic, but they highlighted the difference between an established starter like Lamar and backups who are still learning the nuances of the system. This distinction matters immensely for the Ravens' strategy, especially as they head into the regular season. It's why every practice, every throw, and every timing drill is so critical in these final weeks of preparation. The attention to detail extends beyond just quarterbacks and receivers. Offensive linemen, tight ends, and running backs are all integral to how well a quarterback performs in live scenarios. The Ravens' offensive line, for example, is tasked with maintaining pocket integrity, especially during high-speed drills designed to simulate game conditions. If a lineman falters, the quarterback must adjust instantly. During Wednesday's practice, there were moments where the pocket collapsed slightly faster than ideal, and Lamar had to make split-second decisions to evade pressure. That's part of what makes the quarterback's performance during practice so intriguing. You can see how they react under pressure, how they maintain focus, and how they use their athleticism to create opportunities. For Lamar, these moments are part of his bread and butter. For the backups, they are learning experiences that illustrate the difference between experimental practice throws and game speed execution. Another fascinating aspect of the practice was the role of the weather. The light drizzle made the field slick, affecting both footing and grip. For quarterbacks, especially mobile ones like Lamar, small adjustments in foot placement and release mechanics are critical. Even a minor slip can slightly alter the trajectory of a deep ball or affect the timing of a quick pass. Observers noticed that after Lamar was stepped on, his throws showed slight deviations, not because of injury, but because of the combined effect of field conditions, experimental throws, and the minor disruption of the incident. Understanding this context is important because it paints a more complete picture of practice performance. These are the subtle nuances that casual fans often overlook, but that coaches and analysts scrutinize extensively. As the practice unfolded, it became clear that the Ravens are meticulously balancing risk and preparation. Lamar's minor setback could have been a major distraction, but the coaching staff ensured that the quarterback was evaluated carefully, that recovery protocols were followed, and that the team maintained focus on executing drills effectively. This level of attention to detail is part of what separates NFL teams that are consistent playoff contenders from those that struggle with early season injuries or miscommunications. Lamar's ability to continue participating in practice, even with minor discomfort, reflects both his resilience and the careful management by the Ravens staff. It's a delicate balance, pushing a superstar quarterback enough to prepare him fully while not risking injury that could affect the regular season. Meanwhile, the other quarterbacks are also absorbing lessons from Lamar's approach. They observe how he adapts to pressure, how he reads defenses, and how he maintains rhythm with his receivers. Even in moments of slight imperfection, Lamar demonstrates leadership by example, showing that a quarterback can experiment, make adjustments, and continue to command the offense without losing confidence. This dynamic creates a learning environment where backups can develop more quickly, even if their throws aren't as clean as Lamar's. It's a reminder that in football, preparation isn't just about executing plays perfectly. It's about developing awareness, resilience, and adaptability under live conditions. Finally, the broader takeaway from this practice is the importance of chemistry, timing, and adaptability across the entire offensive unit. From Lamar's experimental throws to Cooper Rush's adjustment period, from the receiver's route precision to the lineman maintaining pocket integrity, every element interacts in a complex choreography that defines how well the offense performs on game day. The minor incident with Lamar being stepped on is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, but it's a piece that draws attention precisely because it involves the team's most critical player. Fans, coaches, and analysts are all watching closely, aware that even small disruptions can ripple into larger challenges if not managed carefully. The Ravens' preparation during these final practice sessions is about mitigating risk, reinforcing mechanics, and ensuring that both starters and backups are ready to perform when the lights are brightest. This combination of intense preparation, minor setbacks, and live adjustment highlights why football is as much a mental game as it is physical. Lamar Jackson's experience during Wednesday's practice illustrates the delicate balance between experimentation, injury management, and performance under pressure. His ability to navigate these dynamics while maintaining focus and execution demonstrates the unique skill set that makes him such a pivotal figure for the Ravens. At the same time, the backup quarterbacks, including Cooper Rush, provide valuable insight into the challenges of stepping into a high-tempo offense and highlight the importance of timing, chemistry, and adaptability in real-time practice scenarios. Even as the day concluded, the energy around the Ravens was palpable. Fans were talking, analysts were dissecting, and the team itself was already preparing for the next session, aware that every day counts in training camp. The small adjustments, the subtle misfires, the moments of brilliance, and the minor setbacks all combine to shape the readiness of this team as the regular season approaches. Lamar Jackson's presence, resilience, and ability to adapt are central to this narrative, but the broader context of the entire quarterback room and offensive unit underscores the complexity of preparation in professional football. Each practice, each drill, and each interaction is a building block toward a team that hopes to be firing on all cylinders when the season officially kicks off. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Davante Adams joining the Baltimore Ravens has set the NFL world ablaze with speculation, excitement, and endless debate about what this move means for both the player and the franchise. Rumors suggest that the signing was months in the making, with sources close to the team hinting at secret meetings, late-night phone calls, and strategy sessions that involved the front office, coaching staff, and even Adams himself. The mere whisper of his arrival had fans flooding social media with predictions about touchdown passes, record-breaking seasons, and a revamped offensive scheme designed specifically to maximize his talent. Analysts are questioning how this will affect Lamar Jackson's role in the offense, with some speculating that the Ravens might shift toward a pass-heavy attack that highlights Adams' ability to dominate the field in every quarter. From tailgaters to sports radio hosts, the energy around Baltimore is palpable, as if the city has collectively held its breath waiting for an announcement that could change the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. Even rival teams are said to be reconsidering their offseason plans, seeing Adams not just as a player, but as a potential game-changing force capable of redefining the AFC North. Insiders hint that the negotiation process was nothing short of cinematic, involving private jets, closed-door meetings, and what some sources describe as high-stakes poker between agents, team executives, and Adams' personal advisors. The rumor mill suggests that multiple teams were actively courting Adams, each promising different visions for his role, but the Ravens reportedly won him over with a combination of historic franchise legacy, an aggressive offensive philosophy, and the allure of becoming the centerpiece of a team hungry for a championship. Fans speculate endlessly about the contracts, the clauses, and the incentives that may have been included to secure a deal that has already generated shockwaves across the league. Social media chatter suggests that Ravens merchandise featuring Adams has already seen unprecedented pre-sale numbers, and local businesses anticipate a surge in ticket demand that could rival any previous star signing. Commentators are already drawing parallels to other transformative acquisitions in NFL history, debating whether Adams' arrival could rival some of the most iconic moments of player-team unions, and the speculation grows as insiders hint that we may not yet have heard the full scope of what this signing entails for both marketing, strategy, and long-term team identity. The impact of Adams' presence on the Ravens extends far beyond the field, as insiders speculate about locker room dynamics, team chemistry, and the morale boost that comes from acquiring a player of his caliber. Rumors circulate that younger receivers on the roster are looking to Adams not just as a teammate, but as a mentor, someone capable of imparting decades of accumulated skill, discipline, and insight into the craft of elite football. Analysts have begun constructing hypothetical game plans around his arrival, imagining how defenses might struggle to contain a wide receiver with his size, speed, and unparalleled route-running precision. Fans are reporting sightings of Adams in practice facilities, interacting with coaches, and seemingly already immersed in film sessions that hint at a level of preparation rarely seen for even high-profile athletes. Meanwhile, debates rage over which specific matchups will define his first season in Baltimore, with some suggesting that he could single-handedly transform divisional rivalries into national headlines. The constant hum of speculation, fueled by unnamed sources and half-confirmed reports, has created a narrative in which Adams is no longer just a player, but a symbol of an ambitious, audacious Ravens era that aims to challenge every expectation placed upon them in the coming seasons. Financial rumors swirl around Adams' deal, as industry insiders hint at staggering figures that could redefine the economics of player acquisition for the Ravens and the league at large. The conversation is not merely about base salary or signing bonuses, but about the long-term incentives, performance clauses, and marketing partnerships that are said to have been key to securing his commitment. Observers speculate that the contract may include innovative provisions designed to reward on-field success in ways that extend beyond traditional metrics, creating both media buzz and strategic leverage for the team. Local fans have speculated wildly about ticket pricing, merchandise releases, and even potential corporate sponsorships tied to Adams' name, turning what would normally be a player announcement into a multidimensional financial story. Rumors suggest that team ownership is betting heavily on Adams not only for his on-field contributions, but also for his ability to elevate the Ravens' profile in national media and generate sponsorship opportunities that could impact the franchise for years to come. Analysts have begun debating whether this is merely a savvy investment or a calculated gamble with potential risks as high as the anticipated rewards, fueling ongoing speculation that seems destined to dominate sports coverage long after the initial announcement. Perhaps most tantalizing of all are the rumors about how this signing will influence the Ravens' championship aspirations, with sources hinting that Adams could be the final piece in a puzzle long considered incomplete by fans and pundits alike. Speculation runs wild regarding playoff scenarios, offensive schematics, and whether this acquisition will allow Baltimore to dominate both the AFC North and the league more broadly in the coming seasons. Sports radio hosts, bloggers, and social media influencers dissect every possible implication, from strategic red zone packages to hypothetical end-of-season records, fueling a constant cycle of rumor and counter-rumor. Even casual fans seem to sense that this is not just a signing, but a statement, an audacious declaration that the Ravens are serious about rewriting their history and asserting themselves as perennial contenders. While the league remains tight-lipped, insiders hint at training regimens, team meetings, and even community events that have already been influenced by Adams' arrival, suggesting that his presence could be transformative in ways no one has yet fully quantified. Ultimately, the conversation surrounding Davante Adams and the Baltimore Ravens has transcended the realm of ordinary sports speculation, becoming a cultural moment that captures imagination, fuels debate, and ensures that every fan in Baltimore and beyond is watching, waiting, and wondering just how far this unprecedented acquisition will take the franchise. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.